Live. 1, 2, 3. Live. I think so. Hi guys, Flatmeister here. Haven't done a video in a long time. What's going on? Well, it's my pain. Chronic pain. It's always holding me up. So yeah, today's topic is well, game journalism is, we know, is at an all-time low. Even sites that used to be I wouldn't say not trustworthy. That's not the word I'm looking for. Well, yeah, they're not trustworthy, but yeah, some sites that were deemed, ethical, but we've seen like how sites like One Angry Gamer is going with too much of the sort of the hate clicks. He's being a bit more antagonistic in his articles. I've called about before, like with the whole, Mortal Kombat 11 did go woke with all that shit, like with the change of female character designs, reducing their assets and stuff like that. But let's see with the title, with Rage 2 makes Polygon rage about character design. So let me. Why is my mouse not working? Where's the cursor gone? Where's the fucking cursor? Look, it occasionally works and then stops. I'll have to use the old laptop thing then. Fucking great. Alright, so this guy here, Chris Palante, looks like your typical soy boy. So yeah, he's apparently, let me have a look. I think he's like the not founder. He's like the co-editor at Polygon, executive editor, right? And obviously works for Vox Media and all that shit, right? So anyway, he wrote this shitty article. It's so fucking stupid, right? He goes, "Oh, my face is in the way. My face is tired." Yeah, let me. Dear me, I should have been prepared for this shit. Alright. Let's. Oh, that side? Yeah, there we go. Alright, can you see me now? Alright, let's lock that in. So yeah, Rage 2. I played the first Rage and hard to. Oh god, I'm too far over now. It ain't right, it ain't fucking right. Well, look, you can see the headline, right? Rage 2 is a fun game that makes me feel like garbage. Yeah, that should be enough. But so yeah, it's hard to believe the first Rage game came out in 2011 on the Xbox 360, PS3, and like even now, like the graphics look amazing for 2011. I completed that quite a few years ago. Yeah, really cool game. The guns felt chunky and they were loud and aggressive. Like the machine gun would go, and you'd have this massive chunky revolver that would, and the AI was incredible as well. When you'd shoot like the mutants or enemies, the way they would navigate the environment, like there'd be pipes, like if you're in like a sort of sewer system or tunnels in like a facility somewhere, they would jump and dodge your gunfire, and they would climb on the pipes. Like their movement was completely unpredictable, and like when they'd react to getting shot, things like that. But so yeah, Chris Plant wrote this article about Rage 2, complaining about the game uses his birth defect as a crude shorthand for mutant freak. Well, pretty much all game journalists are mutant freaks, so don't need to tell us twice. I mean, where's the picture of him again? Yeah. I mean, now obviously I've read the article before, but I don't know if you can tell what mutant freak. So here's the prop. Like, this was listed not as a review. This was like as an opinion piece or something. It's a stupid piece that it doesn't need to be on a game site. This kind of shit, right? So can you see the difference between the villain and Chris Plant? Right, so there's the picture. Every time I begin to enjoy Rage 2, and I've seen like clips of the trailers, it looks really cool. I begin to enjoy Rage 2, finds a new way to treat me like shit. What, you the player or the character? You specifically, Chris? So yeah, so Bethesda's, I think it's id Software, yeah. The gunplay, I have no doubt we will be unpacking what makes it open world click in the coming days, blah blah blah. But never has a game so personally directly bummed me out. Like, alright, okay, let's see what's bumming you out, shall we? Just because a developer listens doesn't mean they hear us. I thought game journalists usually complain about that, like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Hey, Tahillam, how's it going, man? Good to see you. So you haven't missed much. So I was just talking about game journalists. So luckily, Chris Plant, one of these select few privileged game journalists that gets to go to E3, you know, all these other game conferences that many other gamers would probably love to go. I think E3 has actually opened it up to the public. So you got a chance to speak with the studio director Tim Willits about Rage 2 after a relatively straightforward interview running through the game's grab bag of inspirations. The conversations shifted to something more personal. Or you mean you shifted the conversation? My birth defect and how the game presents it as a crude joke. So presumably he's talking about cleft lip. And you can kind of see it because obviously he's he has a moustache and beard, but yeah, you can kind of see this is still what a big feminist looks like, with a cleft lip. Oh no, sorry, I thought that was Chris Plant. Whoops. Harassment by Flatmeister is terrible. So let's see how Chris Plant tries to shit on this game developer. Like you read it's so funny, right? The conversation. So Rage 2's publisher Bethesda has just revealed a $119.99 collector's edition that would come with a talking robotic Buster Ruckus the Crusher, one of the game's many Goliath mutants, compared to like Fallout 76's collector's edition with the canvas bag collector's bag. So like all the other Crushers in the game, Ruckus has a gash running from the top of his upper lip through his nose, as if its face didn't fully form at birth. Surely that's part of world building, that these mutants, that something is affecting their genetics, their DNA, that it's making them not fully formed. So that's part of world building. It's not a personal attack on you. Is that a personal attack or something? Insert that. It's not a personal attack on you, Chris Plant, or anyone with cleft lip. So it sings, it jokes, it now coming to a wall near you. Get your Ruckus the Crusher. $119 is a bit. So the mutation I explained to Willits looks like an exaggerated cleft lip and cleft palate. Yeah, it's supposed to be. The original Rage used similar imagery for its mutants, and I told Willits how disappointed I felt to see the sequel following the same path. You trying to dictate people's creative control, creative vision, Chris Plant? Because game journalists, you shouldn't get free review copies. You don't deserve it because of how much of a blight you are on the game journalist, on the game industry as a whole. So fiction has long associated. When has fiction long associated cleft with both villainy and mental health disorders? What about all that representation? Mental health. And it appeared the Rage franchise would perpetuate this. Fucking hell! What the bloody this laptop touchpad is irritating. Would perpetuate this cruel, damaging misrepresentation to a broad audience. It's not. People just get, right, this is a mutant. It's designed to look that way. It's not an attack on the cleft palate and cleft lip community. Willits, to his credit, was receptive to the feedback. It's because like he was there to talk about the game, and you're making it about yourself. You're projecting. You're bringing. It's narcissism 101. He's bringing it all back onto himself. Chris Pallant is. This just shows how. It's just irritating, right? The relevant portion of the interview, right? So Tim Willits, the studio, goes, so you feel that it's a little insensitive? Chris goes, yeah, it makes me a little uncomfortable when it's always the bad guys that have the upper lip and nose removed effectively. Willits goes, I never thought of that. I mean, we tried to make, like you can hear in the guy's voice, he's stumbled by this. He's like, he doesn't want to say something wrong in case the game journalist writes a shitty article. So he goes, we tried to. Kenneth Scott was our art director on Wage 1, and I kind of feel bad now. Yeah, it's because you're put on the spot by this journalist. Sometimes it's hard when you don't live in that world, so you're like, oh, these guys, so I apologise. You don't have to apologise, Willits. And I'll talk to the guys for 5 minutes going, yeah, did you get that? This fucking game journalist bloody complaining. Rather than, asking questions about gameplay, story, what improvements have you made on the game since the first one. So Pallant goes, sure, are mutations normal for the heroes too in this version of the game? Tim Willits goes, in mostly the bad guys, but we do have some. The heroes in Rage 2 are not as pretty as the heroes in Rage 1. Someone did like the Girls of Rage posters and stuff, so we are trying to be a little... What's that? The Girls of Rage. Anyway, while that's loading. And stuff, so we're trying to be a little more balanced. Avalanche studio guys have also been very good about being a little more sensitive, so I do think we have a better balance. And that's the end of that little... I've now played a significant amount of Rage 2, and I have to wonder if Willits forgot to have that conversation, or if that conversation was had. Yeah, he probably just laughed it off with his teammates, like, why is this pussy little soy boy complaining about a cleft lip when it's character design 101. This is fiction. This is set in a post-apocalyptic... I don't think it's nuclear. I think it was a meteor in the first game. Meteor hits the planet, so people are kept in only the select people within speak words out, Flatmeister. Jesus. Only select few are put in these stasis chambers within these bunkers that are kept underground. They're sort of contained biovac. I'm trying to remember, were they kept underground or were they sent into space and then they were brought down? I can't remember. But yeah, then you as the player, you wake up from that from your stasis chamber and you get rescued. Mutants attack you. But yeah, it was a meteor that crash landed to Earth. Was what it was, and it created mutants and stuff like that. Where were we? Yeah, if the conversation was had, was it a closer to cost-benefit analysis? Will enough players be upset to warrant the investment in improving these character designs? They probably just thought that you were bitching it about yourself, Chris Pallant. It's a shame that EA didn't take that, cost-benefit analysis with Battlefield 5. If we put a British female soldier on the front lines in a World War II game that our franchise is known for being historically accurate for the most part, will our players, if we get that feedback, will our players listen to us? I can now say with certainty that the Avalanche guys have not been very good about being a little bit more sensitive. Oh, so he's quoting the quoting Tim Willett, or perhaps Willett's meant little more in a literal sense, as in they have made the smallest effort. They don't give a shit about you, Chris Pallant, because you made it about yourself. You were there to report about the game, not about using deformity. Rage 2's use of cleft lip and palette imagery in the final game is worse than I expected. And certainly worse than its predecessor. I already mentioned that the Crusher, who are both recurring bosses and environmental hazards, each of them with identical facial designs. What you can just about see. I made peace with Crusher design months ago. I hate it, it's awful. But I understand the crass reality of it all. Yes, because it's set in a post-apocalyptic mutant wasteland. God almighty, man. Long before last summer, Bethesda leadership felt that the Crusher could be for Rage what the silly Claptrap is for Borderlands. Clear inspiration for the series. So what, they want to add it as like a mascot of sorts, like visual icon for the series. They'd already greenlit that crummy big mouth Billy Bass knockoff collector's edition. The die was cast. Oh, for goodness sake, man. Besides, I thought before diving into Rage 2, how many times could they use this cleft imagery in one game? A lot, it turns out. So, cleft is used with such frequency that it feels like a visual cue. The exaggerated cleft signifies most mutated of mutants, subhuman beasts that are gauged, ridden like horses or mounted like animals. That's because that's set in a fictional world, Chris. Jesus Christ. Early in the game, I meet a scientist riding a humanoid beast. Creature has a cleft lip, one less exaggerated, more like my own at birth. Again, let's... He might have had surgery to correct it, but it doesn't seem that bad. Oh yeah, we never got a chance to see what the ladies of Rage... What is that all about? Is that it? What the fucking hell? I waste my time on that shit. Anyway, where were we? Total Recall, Coatu. I haven't seen that movie in years. I need to go back and watch that. So the creature's covered in its own drool, a straw hanging from its mouth. It's all part of the world building, Chris, but obviously these SJW NPC game journalists, they don't know a thing about creating anything. They can't. On some level, Willett's told the truth when we last spoke. The good characters aren't as pretty as they were in the original, though most of the women in the game easily fall within that realm. But their designs aren't thoughtful or interesting either. Artists either depict the spectrum of weight and age with the grace of a mad magazine cover. Lopsided consistency to the world. The better the character, the more traditional their beauty. The sketchier the character, the more deformed. That's, again, like, is character design 101. We need visual cue. Like, you can create a good character that is deformed. I mean, take for instance, right, what was his name in 300? The name was completely, you know who I mean, like the Hunchback in 300. He was at first noble, but he was a coward, and he had to live with the guilt of selling out the Spartans too, and that, you know, the flanking pass, you know, to kill the Spartans, so, you know, King Xerxes could. Yeah, he was a flawed character. You know, you felt sorry for him. The Spartans and their ideology of only the perfect mighty warrior can be a Spartan, you know, and he was lured by the the degeneracy of King Xerxes, like, oh, I can give you women and power and money, and I want a uniform. You know, he was a flawed character, but he wasn't a bad, and he wasn't necessarily a good character either. He was a character that got cast aside by the Spartans, and, you know, cowardly sold out his own people. I'm not even going to fucking use that mouse. I think the battery's probably on the way out on that wireless one. So yeah, the sketchier, the more deformed. Obviously, there's rare exceptions, and exactly, you know, like if they've changed it up. but I'm not going to read this entire article. But apparently, like, there's a conversation from the optimistic from Willits. Recognise I have the rare opportunity to actually speak to creators in person. Oh, here's what I wrote a few hours after that meeting. So I recognise I have the rare opportunity to actually speak to creators in person, that there isn't a better means for other people outside my position to have this experience. I recognise that people of other backgrounds have for decades had to play games that treat them as targets, and that they still do. But for a moment I felt a surge of optimism. Oh, do you know what? Just fuck off, Chris Pallant. Optimism is gone. I suspect that there could be a later game character that serves as a counterpoint. That crushers have hearts of gold and have been weaponized by humans. So yeah, that'd be cool. If it turn out that some of these crushers are like, well, it's like the behemoths in Fallout. You know, some of the super mutants. Some of that, like playing Fallout New Vegas. I need to come back to that. Me so vabish. Yeah, mean son of a bitch. He was a cool character. Midway through my time in Rage 2, I sprint through a sticky nightclub, one of those forgettable video game environments that transitions the player from a big action set piece to the next. And then you see the same art asset on the wall a half dozen times because, hey, the space isn't a huge priority. And what they have, a mounted bust of a mutant. That looks pretty cool with the sort of neon lights. I'm no expert in video game design. Whoa. Well done. Congratulations for admitting it, Chris Plant. I have confidence saying these busts could have been removed with minimal time and effort, or how about no, let game developers choose what they want to do, you know? With minimal time and effort. It wouldn't have required cancelling pre-orders, delaying development, or halting production on novelty special editions. But here it is anyway, another mutant with a cleft, letting me know this is one truly subhuman. So far from the other humans that it can be mounted like a hunted animal. It has the tiniest environmental flavour for some players, but makes others feel like an absolute trash. I mean, it makes you feel like trash. I mean, you only have to look at, like, what was it that? There was some disabled journalist wrote an article saying that Avengers Endgame, which I haven't watched yet, Avengers Endgame is ableist against disabled people. Like, I've gone to the cinema, like, I've been in pain, you know, with my chronic pain, but I can sit through a movie if I'm concentrating and enjoying the movie. But and I do tend to take like a special I got like a padded pillow thing that I put as on the base of my wheelchair that, you know, I sit on. It just sort of adds a bit of padding to my back. You know, I suffer from chronic back pain, so I need that. So I usually put that pillow then on like my seat in the cinema. So much for a little more sensitivity, and loads of people are just calling. I don't even think it loads the comments. Oh, it is. I tried earlier on today, and it wouldn't let me. There's been no attacks or rebuffs of the press. Something like they sent like a snarky tweet to a journalist when they went, "Oh, you were wondering why you've not heard much from Rage 2? Yes, but neither have I. Like, they've done barely any like advertising, marketing," and they said something snarky back. Like the official Rage 2 or Bethesda account said, "Who are you?" I think it was obviously trying to channel the like in character. But I know obviously Bethesda. There's been a bit of a thing with Kotaku. I think quite a lot of the game press Bethesda have been. Why are there people? Heck, this is disappointing. Amen. Just voicing my support for yours and others' feelings around. Stop virtue signaling about people with cleft lips or disabilities or birth defects. I will definitely be voting with my wallet on this. Hard pass. Go. Fuck off, Chris Plant. So yeah, that's that with regards to that. You know, they try to create controversies and having developers on the defense all the time. So yeah, with that, I've been Flatmeister. I really do apologise for not uploading anything in quite some time. But so we've got the Flat Pack show every Wednesdays. That's 11 PM GMT. That's 6 PM Eastern. I'm not sure if we've got a guest or topic for this Wednesday. I need to talk to the guys. Probably do a topic. I think it's like Mary Sue's, I think, Crumple Point. Which, yeah, remind me. So yeah, the Flat Pack show every Wednesdays. Tahila knows this, as well as most other people that watch my content. With me, Switchpoint, Nerd Waffle, and Crumple Point. The guys, we do like an hour-long podcast show. Sort of talking about topics. We've had quite a lot of indie comic creator guests on the show. Sort of talking about their project, their Indiegogo or Kickstarter. It's been some really talented stuff. All of the guests that we've had on have been incredible. So yeah, I think tomorrow's topic is possibly Mary Sue's. We'll be sort of talking about that. Sort of, if you're a creator, how to avoid those pitfalls of creating a perfect Mary Sue. And this mouse, oh no, it's up there on the other. But this guy's an idiot. So with that, I've been Flatmeister. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow and every Wednesday. Again, it's 11 PM GMT. That's 6 PM Eastern. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my stuff. Tick the bell because I'm trying to remember how many subscribers I got now. I was at 183, which is a really cool, cool number. Need to be getting the views that kind of reflect those the amount of people that follow. So I don't know either if YouTube is like unsubscribe to people from my content or something like that. But let's help get the show, the hashtag Flatpack show, recognized, or share it out and about. So with that, I've been Flatmeister. I'll catch you in the next video. I'll catch you tomorrow. I'll see you then. See you live. Take it easy, everyone. Bye.